Are you ready?
Hello, and welcome to the Whole House Podcast, where you can find home, health, and family all in one place. Our team is comprised of moms from different upbringings and backgrounds, and we each have different passions and giftings and strengths. We each represent a different room, and we all make up the whole house. So grab a cup of coffee and join our overly caffeinated ladies here for the Whole House Podcast.
Hi, today on the Whole House, it's Kathleen.
And Amerey and Glenna.
Always Glenna. And today we're going to talk about hosting a family camp, which we do every year. And I'm trying to remember how many years we've done this.
Well, how old are the twins? And so, well, I guess Cecilia
was a baby when we rented the cabin the first year. So probably...
That's almost 5 years.
Yeah, this will be our 5th year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 5 years.
So we can do the math.
Yes.
We do the math by the ages of our children.
By the age, that's...
So I'm just going to start by saying, answering the question, well, what is a family camp?
Yeah, what is a family camp?
Because, you can sign up for a family camp and go away from home and your whole family goes. But what a family camp is to us is us doing the camp for our family and Lori. Because Lori comes.
Well, Lori is a part of her family.
Yeah, Lori's part of our family. So why did we start this family camp?
Yes, why did we start it? Well, when I was little, Grandma Guire had a camp to bring all of her grandkids together.
Yes, Camp Watermelon.
Yes. And so I think that's why you started it, is just to carry on that tradition, because Grandma Guire had just this great idea. She had a couple grandkids that lived right next door to her, and then a couple that lived like a couple hours away, and then some that lived states away. So she just devised a plan to get all her grandkids there at once.
Exactly, for a whole week. And
she entertained us all week long with activities and crafts, and
I was the craft director.
Yes, and outings, and we each had to help make meals and
and
prayer and Bible study, and we did all those kind of things.
We learned so much from her doing the family camp, and her main reason for doing it, like Amerey said, was to get the whole family together, to get all of the grandkids in one place at one time, because often when you don't have a purpose and you just keep saying, we're going to get together, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So.
And when you get together, you just sit there and look at each other.
Right. And Grandma had a great schedule.
Yes.
Down to make your bed in the morning, room inspections, whose turn it was to help with breakfast and that sort of stuff.
She's a pioneer.
Right.
She used to wake us up by singing, "Rise and shine and give God the glory." That's what she used to do.
Yep.
It's time to wake up. Keep living life.
And we have some really fond memories of, going...
The family quilt. She made a quilt to go for prayer time and all of those kind of things.
And going on the hayride with Uncle Perry driving the wagon like crazy.
Yes.
And when I was trying to hold like 4 small kids down at one time on this bumpy back road, and I said slow down, he thought I said speed up.
I don't think he really thought that.
I know.
I think that he knew.
And then going to the horse ranch that was out in the middle of Nowheresville.
Yes.
Those horses were gorgeous.
And going fishing and having a pool day, and we would do the drive-in.
And that little that little farm that somebody owned that we went to, where she had bunnies and chickens, and the kids got to ride the horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many memories.
So that was the first family camp, the family camp that I grew up with. And then when your kids started having kids, you decided to carry on the tradition.
Right, I just thought it was such a great idea. So, like I was saying, the first year we rented a cabin up near Deep Creek, and it was on a Mennonite farm. So it was awesome because we had this whole big pond to ourselves with a diving board and kayaks, and
We didn't really have much of a plan then because the twins were 3, 2, 4. How old? Because Lucy was...
They had to be about 3.
Yeah. Audrey announced she was pregnant with Pip there.
Okay. Gee whiz.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. And Pip is 3 years old.
Yeah.
So that was 4 years ago when she announced that she was pregnant with Pip. So
we just, the kids...
Then we just played in the pond.
And I remember Seth singing songs on the back deck with his,
We did clay, a guitar.
Oh, did he have the guitar? I didn't know if he had the ukulele or...
Yeah, he had the guitar then.
And just those kind of things. So the next year we decided to have a plan and to have it at my house. And, we have 7.5 acres and we have a pool and you don't have to even have all that because
not
kids...
everybody is as blessed.
Right. And the kids don't even go down in the 7.5 acres. They stay in the main
within
part of the
probably
yard.
less than an acre they stay in.
But we had released the podcast, how to have summer fun on a budget on Memorial Day. And this is kind of a follow-up of that because not all of the families, my kids and their spouses, had thousands and thousands of dollars to spend
Or even hundreds
to spend on a summer vacation.
Yes.
So we wanted to do a vacation for the kids and do vacation-like things at my house.
Yep.
And
we did a staycation. We did the cabin, we did a staycation, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Going to the Youghiogheny.
Yeah.
That's when Seth flipped out of the boat.
Lost his favorite glasses.
Lost his glasses.
Yes, sorry. That was just me remembering.
Right, so we decided to be more organized and have a schedule.
We are still not as organized as Grandma Guire.
No, we're not.
We have not reached her elite.
We have not reached your elite status.
Yes.
But we do have a schedule, and each family takes a turn preparing whatever meal is on the schedule. So, it'll be the Campbell family is responsible for dinner, and all the ingredients are already there. We make sure, but there's a very important thing about going to the grocery store.
You don't send Audrey to the grocery store. Don't send the person who's going to get distracted and go to another store to the grocery store. You send the person who's going to do the military-minded, I'm going to do this and it's going to get done.
Right, the Uncle Roberts of your family.
Don't send the wanderers.
That would be my brother, Uncle Robert, who goes through the store at the speed of lightning.
Or Dad, yeah. Don't send the Audreys of your life. Because they'll get distracted and go to Old Navy for 2 hours.
She accidentally went to Old Navy.
And bought her children's summer wardrobe.
So, anyway, back to so we have a schedule for the meals, and each family takes turns. Yeah. And we also have a schedule. Amerey is always she does crafts. And so I go ahead and buy all the supplies for crafts, whatever we've chosen to do ahead of time. We usually do some water balloon games.
We do. We do everything based on ages. And my grandma could do more detailed crafts and have more because we were a little bit older when she was doing these things with us. But right now, the things that we do at Camp Lemon Lime are, we have swimming time, which is usually a couple of hours because that's where most of the time is spent in the pool. And then we have reading time, which can either be reading by yourself or reading with an adult, and then we have a craft, and then we have maybe we do a nature walk or something like that, or then we also have free time and rest time, and so it all depends on your ages. So if you decide to do a family camp and you have 9 or 10-year-olds, then you're not going to be doing rest time or things that
and your nature hike could be more extended instead of 50 feet beyond the house where you're finding acorns.
You've only made it to the 2 nut trees so far.
Yes. And the other thing that Amerey was talking about, the reading time, what we do is we set up a few tents in the front yard, and usually nobody sleeps in them.
Yes.
They just take a stack of books out there the kids do, and either adults will read to them or the older kids will just sit there and look at the books or read to themselves. So it is all very low key. And one important point that Amerey and I were talking about before we started recording is a wonderful thing about family camp.
Lena is keeping us.
Yeah, she's
our background.
She's
music.
got our sound effects going here. The wonderful thing about the family camp is we have some kids on the spectrum in our family. So actually going to Disney World or somewhere that's a little sensory overload.
Just leaving their comfort zones, their home, the places that they know as home.
Right, is overload to them. And there's some days like, what was it? Was it last year that all the Simmons went to church with us that Sunday morning? And the boys ended up having to wear their noise-reducing headphones and were practically catatonic the rest of that day.
Yeah.
So family camp is a way of, so we probably won't do that one again. So family camp is a way to tailor your activities and what you expect and what you do for your family. We usually do some sensory activities. One of the, I don't know why the kids thought this was so much fun. Remember the one year we had just the giant metal tub, and they were just taking the sponges and soaking them with water, and then running with the full sponge over to the other bucket and wringing it out until we filled that bucket up. Yeah. Those kids wanted to do that.
They did it all day long.
All day long.
Yeah, they did.
So sensory activities, you can plan those yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to think, oh, I'm on vacation. We just have to do these certain things and go these places. You can do what fits for the kids in your family and the adults in your family also. Because we have some adults on the spectrum in our family, and they like to do things that are predictable and calm, and they know what's coming. And I send the grandkids a packing list and a schedule a couple weeks ahead of time, and so they know what's going to happen. And that can be a little dangerous too if it rains one day.
It's dangerous. Or if they get there and we're not automatically out doing the first thing on the schedule.
We gotta do this.
Then you have to prepare yourself for adjusting the schedule to their
Right, and sometimes, like Amerey was saying about the schedule, sometimes we do have to change the schedule and adjust the schedule because we realize we've over-planned.
Yeah, usually I plan about 3 or 4 crafts, but by the end of the week we've probably done 2. Maybe 2. Usually we have one. We like to do one that incorporates the kids' hand prints so that each year we can see how. And by the end of the week, we usually just decide, okay, we're just doing that one because that's the most important one.
Pick up that baby, put their hand on the canvas.
Let them go. Run.
So the one year Audrey bought a bunch of canvases, and this was the squirt gun paint.
The squirt gun paint. Yes.
And some of the kids squirted their canvases to death. Like over and over and over again.
My son did like 5 little squirts of one of each color.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's quite all right.
Yes.
And
you can use this camp as an opportunity to learn things like how to kick a ball around with a bunch of kids and pass to each other, how to play volleyball, or if your kids are older, or our little kids aren't to that. But these
Spike it, glitter.
Yeah, but these, especially I was homeschooled, so I'm not stereotyping you. But especially if you have homeschooled kids, sometimes, unless you're in a co-op that has a good gym class, these are things that your kids you learn.
Right. And it's good to practice together even if they do learn. Because a lot of kids that go to public school don't necessarily get to do these things because the gym class is limited.
Yes, I guess it is changing.
Yeah, it's changed. But also, we were talking about before we started recording is this is such a relationship building time for everyone.
Yes.
For the adults who... when they get a few 60-second breaks here and there, then they're having a conversation about something. Yes. Or when we're taking a walk with the kids and everybody's pushing strollers and they're having a conversation. Plus all the cousins get to interact with each other, and they know they're all going to be there.
Yes.
And they're all looking forward to that. And they're looking forward to spending the night or swimming in the pool. They have all these things they look forward to, but they're interacting with each other, and it's relationship building. Because even like I'm saying, remember Uncle Perry driving the tractor at Camp Watermelon? Then our kids someday are going to be, remember
Uncle Seth throwing us into the pool.
Yeah, Uncle Seth throwing us into the pool, or remember Barry picking with Grandpa. Remember the tie-dye shirts we made?
Yes.
Well, that Audrey and Carly made. Because it was a little much for the kids to do.
Also, you shouldn't let the perfectionists in your family take over crafts. Yes. Then it'll take all day long.
Right. Right.
But the shirts turned out amazing because of all the hard work they did.
And, it's a budget-friendly thing to do because you can divide up the crafts, the groceries, and if people want to pitch in for the groceries, then they just give me the money, or I buy the groceries, and
but also go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I think that we just have to dispel that myth that a vacation has to be something where you get in your car and drive 9 hours.
It's an important thing to think about is that your kids or your grandkids, whether you're a grandma planning on doing this or a mom gonna do it with your sisters or something, is that your kids don't necessarily want to go, and I mean, I'm sure that maybe if you offered for them to go and ride a roller coaster, they'd say yes, but they just want to spend time with doing fun things with you, where the attention is on them and where they get to spend time with their cousins. And that's another big thing about Camp Lemon Lime, is that even though we typically, when we all get together, we spend a lot of time doing things with the kids and things like that. But this is also a time where, like, every adult's attention is on a child. It's not a time when we're like, hold on, you have to wait until I'm finished with this conversation, because this is Camp Lemon Lime. It's all about them. It's all about getting to do things with them.
It's definitely filling their emotional tank.
Yeah.
Because when you're standing there saying, great job squirting that paint on that canvas, or, great job jumping in the pool, great job building that sandcastle.
Yes.
Those things are just, you can't put a price on those. To quote that commercial, whatever that commercial is for.
It's priceless.
It's priceless.
It's MasterCard.
You don't even have to spend the money.
Yeah.
And last year, very last minute, I was like, we need a new sandbox.
Yeah.
And Grandpa Jerry built one out of some wood he already had. He just built it and put a tarp down, and it's got little bench seating on it, and those kinds of things. Kids just love those.
Yeah.
They want to do those things, and it's okay for them to get super, super, super dirty.
Right.
At Camp Lemon Lime.
Yes.
Nobody is constantly telling them you have to. Oh, don't get dirty. Don't get dirty. You can get dirty.
Yeah.
And that's really good for your immune system to boot.
Yes. Exactly. So, what advice would you give somebody, Mom, just starting? They have this idea, they want to do this. So what's the most basic first thing that you would tell them to encourage them to do this and to help them start up their own camp?
I think the most basic thing I would tell them, first of all, if your family is close, really close to you, try doing it for a day and have a plan. Have it all planned out. Have all the meals planned out. Have the ingredients there.
Make sure the parents are on the same page as you, too.
Exactly. Make sure everybody's on the same page, that you understand you're not dropping your kids off and leaving.
Yeah.
You're in charge of this activity.
Or you're not going to go sit down in the living room while we do all of these things.
Right. Everybody is involved. Everybody's participating all the time, and everybody knows what their responsibility is. For example, Amerey is in charge of the crafts, but that doesn't mean everybody just abandons her. She says, okay, it's craft time. You guys all bring your kids here. We're all out here at the picnic table. We're all together. I'm helping these 2 kids. Somebody else is helping these 2 kids. So that family camp is about family doing things together. So I would not recommend that you say, "Hey, I'm just going to do a whole week," especially if your kids are local.
We don't do a whole week.
We do 4 days.
Yeah, we do 4 days.
So I would say have a plan. Make sure everybody's on the same page. Make sure you have everything there.
Yeah.
Because even if you're ultra prepared and you're a planner like I am, guess what? You're probably going to forget something and have to send someone to the store for tomatoes or lettuce
or Gatorade.
Gatorade. Oh, yeah, we got to put that one on our list.
Yeah.
Gatorade. In fact, we were supposed to, from last year, have a list of things that we had...
That's the one thing I remember.
Decided that we need to make sure we have for next year when we get together.
It's the one thing I remember is Gatorade.
Squirt guns.
Squirt guns.
You said squirt guns. We need more squirt guns. We only had a couple last year, and that turned into squirt gun battles.
Yes.
And so let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What is your favorite part about Camp Lemon Lime that you would advise someone to do, even if they only have the day?
I think my favorite part is I like doing the crafts. I mean, I am in charge of the crafts, but I like doing them because I like seeing all my nieces and nephews. They have different opinions on how the craft should be done and how their end product should look. And they're all like... You have, like, I hold up the sample craft, and by the end, nobody's looks like that, but it's not because they're not following their directions. It's because Theo wants to make his owl have blue eyes, and Sam wants to make sure his owl is flying, and all of these different things. So I like doing that because I like seeing the different perspectives they all bring to... And those things usually bring up really interesting conversations. Like we had a fox, we had a bunch of fox decorations and fox craft one year. And Sam was like, foxes are only orange. They are only ever orange.
Because the fox decorations were all orange.
So then we had to, so that brought about us getting out a field guide and looking up different foxes and all those kind of things. So I like doing that, and that's leading me to the next thing that I was going to say. I like the reading the books together because I like just being able to sit and be with them and talk to them about the stories. And I think the third thing I like doing, because I'm naming 3 things, is I love watching all of them swim because every year they develop, even from the first day to the end of the 4 days, they change completely what they're doing in the pool, and they've developed so much, and it's just amazing to watch them grow in those things. So I think that I like doing the crafts because of their different perspectives that they bring to it, and I like sitting and being still with them and doing the reading the books and hearing, because that reading books usually just ends up in them having a lot of different conversations.
Right, exactly. Plus, you're building up their repertoire of literature, and then they have things like when my kids get together now, they talk about books that I read to them. Yeah. And we also have a movie night.
Yeah,
we have popcorn. And movie night starts really early. We're like 6 o'clock. It's time to start the movie. Yeah. Someone make the popcorn. Because, when you have young kids, you have to adjust those things. Yeah. But one of the things that Amerey was talking about, looking up things in nature guides. We had said this, I think, on Summer Fun on a Budget. It's great to be able to look up things on your phone. But I think it's extremely important to buy nature guides, and we should link those in this episode because there's
some
all
of
kinds
our favorites.
Right, and Dover coloring books, like the bird books and the plant books. Those things are amazing. Yeah. Kids like to look at things in books, and the kids, after you look up something in a nature guide, they will take the book from you and sit there and look at it. Yeah. For depending on their age, 5 minutes to sometimes an hour. Yeah. just look through things. You know, the twins who are 7, they'll sit there and read the whole thing.
The whole thing. And then they'll come back and tell you all about it.
Right. And then,
you better be prepared.
Nene, did you know?
Yeah.
Aunt Amerey, did you know?
They walk in my door saying that. Aunt Amerey, did you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I think that, you know, you're listening to us and you're thinking, okay, they go on nature hikes, they go swimming, they do this. They're so creative. They have...
We didn't always do all of those
Right.
things.
Well, but the other thing is, we do our camp to our personality.
Yeah.
If you want to do this and you're like, that's not my personality, or that's not my family's personality, then you figure out what your family likes to do, and
They
you
might
do
be
those
more
things.
adventurous than us. You might go rafting down a river.
You might go spelunking.
Yes. And also, one person does not plan all of this. And like I said, Grandma Guire was the elite there.
Yes.
She did it all.
We bow to you.
Yeah.
We bow to you, Anita.
But we all bring different things to the table and different, we have different things that we're interested in and different ways that we help. And so it's not just one person, and that's how we have so many different things going on, different like crafts and nature walks and all those kind of things, because different people take up the lead on different
and it's about this time of year that we all start messaging back and forth. Let's get the meal plan down, and we're all throwing out ideas.
And a half away from it,
Right, so we've got that done ahead of time, and Amerey and I talk about, and Audrey, we talk about the crafts. What crafts do we want to do? What supplies do we need? We don't just show up and say, okay,
here we go.
It takes a lot of planning.
Or a day before,
Right. It takes a lot of planning, and it takes a lot of forethought, and it takes everybody participating.
And I want to be clear about this too. That by the end of the week, this is not a vacation that you feel rested.
No,
this is not that kind of vacation.
Right.
This is that by the end of the week, when everybody leaves, everybody falls asleep as soon as they get home.
Right. It's kind of like
collapses.
We're still recovering this week while we are recording from our Memorial Day picnic, which lasts all day. And the kids are swimming all day and eating all day and swimming again and playing in the sandbox, and it's like that on repeat, every day.
For 4 days.
Except you have more responsibility because, so if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a family camp and we're just going to sit around and relax.
Nope. False.
This is all about the kids.
We buy the big box from Sam's Club of Keurig pods, and they have like 50, and they're gone. We usually have to send somebody out for more coffee by the end of the week.
More coffee.
Yes.
Coffee is a very extremely important part
of our lives.
Of Camp Lemon Lime, because that's what we call our family camp. Yes, extremely important.
Hi, cutie.
So I'm trying to think of my 3 favorite things.
What are your favorite things?
I think probably my absolute favorite thing, and I'll probably cry, is just seeing everybody show up. You know, and then the kids, like Amerey said, they come
I was going to say that, but I didn't.
And they come through the door, hey, Nene, did you know where? And then they start telling me what we're going to do.
And they talk about what room they're going to sleep in.
Right, because I put little signs up for where their rooms are, and they have a schedule, and, you know, the twins were so excited that they got the whole downstairs to themselves, which their family, their whole family, which they'll get again, the big family room that's in the basement. They'll get all of that to themselves, and they're so excited about that. So that's my first favorite thing, is just seeing everybody show up.
It's okay to cry about that.
It's okay.
Happy
thank you.
Tears. That's what
happy tears. Happy tears.
She pats your cheek and she says, "It's happy tears."
And I think my second favorite thing is just watching all the kids interact. Whether they're doing the craft, whether they're swimming, and just watching them talk and get so excited.
Talk past each other and think they're having a conversation.
Right, the 2-year-olds, do you want to get in this tent? Do you want to read this book? And they talk to each other like that. that is just so
Or
exciting.
Cecilia and Lucy, they sit there and they talk about two different things, but they're
Right.
talking to each other.
Right. And then all of a sudden they say, okay, let's go. And they take off running. And neither of them even knows what they're going to do.
And then they lose each other and they say, where was Lucy? I was playing with her. And you're like, really? Were you? But were you? Do you know what Lucy was saying?
So, and my third favorite thing is watching my adult children interact. And especially when they start reminiscing.
Yeah.
And talking about the things that we did together or that they did at Grandma's or just having conversations together. So those are my three favorite things. And I just want to, as we're wrapping this up, I just want to remind you that this is an investment.
Yes.
It's a time investment. It does take time, but you're investing in the relationships in your family when you do a family camp, or if you just decide to do a family day.
Yeah.
It's a worthwhile investment. Nothing is more important than this life besides your relationship with God first, and then your relationship with your family.
Yeah.
So I think that's...
Whether it be biological or not. 'Cause
Yes.
Lori
Yeah.
is part of our family.
That's right.
She told me the other day that Alex didn't want to spend time with me anymore because he doesn't want to spend time with family anymore.
He'll come
He's
back.
too cool. Yeah.
He'll come back.
He'll
They
come back
always
in a
come
couple
back.
of years with his kids.
Right.
Lori, don't get mad at me for saying that because it's gonna happen.
Lori's going to be crying at this point when
Yeah.
she's listening. So I will just encourage you to put that investment into your family.
Yeah.
And yes, like Amerey was saying, it takes everybody participating. It takes a lot of going back and forth and planning way ahead of time.
Yeah. And while you're there, it takes a lot of going up and down stairs.
That's right. At my house, that's all I have. Stairs everywhere.
Yes.
Stairs outside, stairs inside.
Yes.
Everybody will be really in shape.
Yes, that's what I always say. Lots of swimming in the pool, lots of going up and down stairs. I've lost 10 pounds by the time, and chasing kids around, so you're not eating
right.
your food. So,
Right.
so by the end, I've lost 10 pounds.
So thank you guys for joining us.
We hope
And-
we've inspired you.
Yes. Have a family camp.
Yes.
Or at least a family day. See you next time.
We're so glad you could join us here for the Whole House podcast. Please subscribe, and if you give us a review, we might pick our favorite and send you a prize. Please remember to like the Whole House Facebook page and follow us on Instagram at _whole_house. And please sign up with your email on our website, thewholehouse.org, to be notified when new things are happening here at the Whole House. Thanks so much for listening.